Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the China Innovation Decoded. I'm your host, Summer Xia. Today, we have invited Sophie Sun to our show. As the MD of Innovation Hub China and Vice President of Strategy and Transformation China at Merck, Sophie is in charge of working with startups to bring new innovative solutions to the company. And today, we are going to decode how Merck is reinventing itself from a traditional pharmaceutical company to a tech company that constantly innovates.
The reason I joined Merck is that because the value and also the ambition that Merck has really align with my personal values and beliefs very much. So in Merck, we believe in curiosity and innovation. We want to make positive change and impact on people's daily life. And also actually my personal beliefs also are influenced by MIT, the school I graduated, and which is to make a better world. What excited me to go to work every day is the potential to really make some impact to people and to build something new, to achieve something. And this is also related to my current role, right? It's being the head of Merck's China Innovation Hub and also run the strategy and the transformation function that you really need to also to engage no matter the internal employees to do the innovation projects, or you enable these external startups or engage with the academia and government and to really help to build some new things and new technologies. And so I think those things are really very exciting. And of course, and what I'm currently doing is different from when I first joined Merck 10 years ago. So
it's been a long time.
Right, it's been 10 years. But as mentioned, that the value and what Merck really look at to explore and bring to the world didn't change, and we think it's important to impact the world in a positive way. And as a company with 350 years history. Well, of course, we are the oldest and the pharmaceutical and chemical company in the world, but we have a young heart and we stay curious and
always innovate.
Always innovate. And so the brand of Merck also changed over the years, and then we now emphasize a lot on the vibrate science and technology, but the core is always the same. Yeah.
Oh wow! So what is you mentioned vibrant?
Vibrate science and technology. And because people often think Merck as a pharmaceutical company, which is, of course, represent the large business of Merck, but we also play in the life science and performance materials sectors. And so these businesses are quite different, but they all kind of represent the cutting-edge technology, and Merck also aspire to, through the different technologies, bring the value and the innovation to the worldwide customers.
Great. So let's talk about innovation, especially innovation in China. When we talk about innovation, I guess we have to talk about those technology and startups that are emerging through the market. And what kind of impact do you think Chinese innovation bring to the world? And what kind of impact does that leave?
So the landscape of China's innovation, of course, also evolving and transform a lot in the past years. And if you look at now that China is already the second largest country with the R&D spending. And also, if you look at the unicorn startups, and the among the top 10 world unicorn startups, 5 from China. And we also filing a lot of patents, and we're the second largest country. And the VC market is also very active. And the size has been increasing dramatically, and we will soon actually pass the US, which is the largest one. So in the past, we see a lot of co-innovation examples. I guess most people probably know about the Xinstar farming, the four new great inventions by China, like the faster train, the e-commerce, the mobile payment, and the shared bikes, right? So people may see that those are not inventions by Chinese, but innovation is the commercial success or inventions. Then Chinese really good at quickly adopt and scale up some new inventions. As the MIT president, Rafi, and he said that also within the next decade, and then we probably will see China is generating the most advanced new technologies. So Huawei definitely is one of the pioneers representing the innovative Chinese companies, the 5G technologies, and they actually started to invest on R&D long before the 5G standard was launched. And so they invest both on the infrastructure and also the devices for 5G. We can see that also other Chinese companies also leading in certain areas, like some biotech companies. And as I mentioned that for our CAR-T trials in China, actually run most CAR-T trials in the world. And we also have some companies and really strong on the PD-1, PD-L1, those immuno-oncology therapies.
Yeah, definitely. I have also observed many innovation that has happened in China. And so what's Merck's role in, how does Merck work with startups, and what kind of startups is Merck looking for? I know you are in charge of China Innovation Hub at Merck. Why don't you tell us about how does that work?
So startups definitely is one of the most important stakeholders in the innovation ecosystem, and that Merck is actively engaging and try to bring value to. So if we look at the approaches we have regarding innovation, first, of course, we identify the innovation fields that we believe Merck have a right to play and can bring the value to the other players. So if the startups place in the innovation field that Merck is looked at, then definitely we will have this potential collaboration synergy there. For example, we of course also play in healthcare, life science, and performance materials. And so for the new technologies in those areas, we actively look at startups. For example, for healthcare, it's the immunology, oncology, immuno-oncology, and we also look at like fertility or diabetes companies. And then it's for life science. We believe that the gene editing, cell therapy, a very promising area, and also e-commerce companies. And then for performance materials, some new material technologies in the semiconductor area, and also like display materials in the like, for example, for OLED, OPV technologies, and those companies we're also looking at. And very importantly, we look at also some emerging technologies, which actually is beyond the current business, or it could leverage the potential synergy among the businesses. We look at biosensing and interfaces areas, which we see that we can leverage Merck's strengths in the material science area, and then we see our channel and customer base and expertise in the healthcare area. So for this field, we can leverage both our expertise and advantage in those two areas. And we also look at startups in the liquid biopsy area, and especially with the target therapeutic area of immunology. And of course in China we understand that there's a lot of very promising startups playing in the digital area. I like it if it's the AI or big data companies with the application in the healthcare, life science, and performance area, then we are also very happy to explore with them. And of course, and these are the kind of area focus we have. And the programs we engage the startups include the accelerator program. We are going to launch April this year, and we already actually started the recruitment. The recruitment will finish by actually this month, January, very soon. And
congrats!
Thank you. Yeah, so look forward to our first program. So it's a 3-month program.
3 months.
We target primarily on the Chinese startups, but also partially with the open to the international startups who are interested in entering China market. So we will offer the curriculum which provide the knowledge and insight on the Chinese market and regulatory and a lot of other HR finance topics and business topics. And of course, very importantly, we connect the startups with Merck's internal network of the scientists and then with the expertise, and also connect them with the business units and for potential collaboration, right? And also we bring in some external mentors which are expert in different domain, and connect them with the VCs and other key stakeholders in the innovation ecosystem.
It's great that you're doing so much for the startups. So I guess for those startups trying to enter like Chinese market, what are the typical challenges they're facing?
Yeah, so for international startups who are entering the Chinese market, of course, there's some typical challenges that you probably will face everywhere.
Regulations
in the world, yeah, regulation definitely is it's a big challenge, right? And especially for the pharmaceutical industry,
right?
It's a really highly regulated industry. And then it's so I just mentioned some common challenges, like when startups work with big corporations and the culture clash, and it's always kind of a barrier, a challenge, right? That's the same everywhere. And when it comes to China market, and of course there will be some uncertainty and ambiguity of the China market, right? And so that part, it's all the startup need to understand. And this is a market that's very dynamic, right? It changed quite fast, and the government have a lot of say on the digital related policies and regulations, and so it's important for the startups to being able to really look very closely at regulations and policies and understand how to adapt to the local market. And of course, working with big corporations is a good way, and because big corporations and like Merck, we have been playing in China market for many years, right?
So a lot of experience.
A lot of experience, and also you have these experts in different domains and deal with the local market, which could provide some very good guidance and advices. And also work with big corporations, of course. And this is also endorsement, right? It's I mean, not only the network you could connect, and being able to work together with big corporations itself could also bring good endorsement for startups. So yeah, I see very true that there's quite a lot of challenges for startups to enter China market, but we should also see so many opportunities in China. And not only because what we mentioned, the large consumer base who are very open to new technologies and new ideas, but also the government's policies is very encouraging, right? We probably all know the entrepreneurship and innovation initiative 双创, right? And it started by Premier Li Keqiang. And we also know the Internet Plus and Made in China 2025, and also Healthy China 2030. Those all the very positive government policies that to support the startups or mid-sized enterprises to really grow and upgrade their products and industries. And China also have the very positive, like some program policies to encourage the talents to return to China. For example, 1,000 talent program, right? 千人计划. Yeah, so also encourage the the overseas scientists come back to China, and it's very good environment. Of course, challenges are there, but opportunity definitely is also there.
Yeah, for sure. I always feel that challenges and opportunities coexist. Yeah, another thing that I have observed for like some Chinese startups is that there are this meditation and mindfulness startups that are emerging. And do you think is that a potential like challenge to like the traditions of Merck, or do you see like room for collaborations in the future?
Mental health definitely is an important topic, and currently Merck is not playing in this area. As I mentioned, that we do also look at the areas that beyond our current business,
right?
And of course, it doesn't mean that we look every business beyond our current business scope, then sure. It will be everywhere. And so our approach is mostly defined by the innovation fields that we identified and agreed upon in advance. So as mentioned, that we have the three sectors: three business, healthcare, life science, performance materials. We have the priority technology we look at, and we also have this emerging technology areas like by sensing interfaces, liquid biopsy that we look at, but we do also look at some emerging technologies and like the AI, big data, those digital technologies, their application interaction with our current businesses. So for those technologies, areas that not really in those areas, we are open-minded, but definitely it's not our priority.
Okay, I see. Yeah, I do. We're running out of time, but I do want to touch base on your views on female entrepreneurship. And I know you're a female leader in the company. And can you tell us a little bit how has your journey as a female leader in the company been?
Yeah, I think it's for females who, especially playing in the science and technology field, definitely there's some challenges.
Right?
There's some challenges because if you look at outside, and also within Merck, there's only a few people who's doing the current role. For example, if you look at the Nobel Prize on the physics, and since its establishment, there's more than 120 scientists who won this reputation with this award, but only 3 actually. We had the third one, who is a female, won this prize. It's very true that in the science and technology domain that we need more females. And we need more females to be recognized, also giving opportunities. I actually, myself personally, also sitting on the board of directors for the MIT Club of Shanghai, and so I started a program called PIFA, Principled Intelligent Female and Allies, and in order to support the female entrepreneurs and the scientists, to get more support and recognition. I think it's really important to support them, also being able to actively being engaged and recognized by the society. I think as a female leader, it's important to be confident and assertive. But when it comes to the business world, and you really, need to take initiative also to advance your own career, right? And a lot of times, female a little bit more kind of on the passive waiting mode, but if you don't stand up, if you don't sit on the table, and it's difficult for people to identify you and give the opportunity, you have to really very actively to pursue those opportunities. For example, when I was in the US, and there's really one leader I respect and admire a lot, and I just came to him and said I want you to be my mentor, and then he was very happy to accept it. So I think it's
You have to look for opportunities.
Yeah, you need to look for opportunities and also understand what's your strengths and understand what the next steps you want to take, right? And female also have this advantage of being more empathetic, right? The empathy,
yeah, for sure.
Nowadays in the business world is also very critical, because it's not like a word kind of very engineering, the kind of straightforward, and then now, and no matter running business or create innovation, it's more kind of a biological way. So the straightforward engineering approach doesn't apply all the time, because especially when you comes to the innovation area, that being able to manage the ambiguity, being able to flexible and adaptive is very important. So I think female has this advantage also, being able to also listen and adaptive and to be more empathetic.
Yes, for sure. I do want to give you a chance to plug in, since I know that the Merck China Accelerators deadline is coming up. So how do those startups that want to join Merck contact you, or contact? What is the website or anything?
Sure. Yeah, so very simple. My email address. We do also have the WeChat platform, and also a group email that you can contact us. And myself is Sophie.Sun at merckgroup.com. So that's also very easy.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Sophie.
Thank you, Summer.
If you're hungry for more decoded insights on China's startup and tech landscape, or you've simply been enjoying our talks, good news, we're now live on iTunes. So leave a comment and let us know what you like and dislike about our show, and we will keep improving. Thank you, and until next time on China Innovation Decoded, powered by Microsoft for Startups Shanghai.